This is Mountain News at 6. Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Kentucky has surpassed 7,000 cases of COVID-19. Governor Beshear says 227 more people have tested positive for the virus. And while that number is higher than in the past few days, the governor says he still believes we have plateaued. Today, he also announced the deaths of 5 more people. At least 326 people in Kentucky have died from COVID-19, and more than 2,600 have recovered. We have heard plenty about how COVID-19 is impacting state budgets, and the effects can be felt in many different places, from fewer local dollars to fewer inmates. Jailers are beginning to feel the pinch. WYMT's Will Puckett has more.
With jails closed off to the public, access is limited to only the personnel working at the facility.
Anybody that comes into the building has to have their temperature checked, and they have to be asked a series of questions, and if they even look sick or appear sick, they can't come in.
But even that number is dwindling.
I've cut everything I know to cut.
Leslie County Jailer Danny Clark has cut nearly 17 employees from his ranks, hoping to save where he can on salary.
Each inmate we lose would equate to about $1,000 a month.
Clark has lost 140 inmates from his roles, a loss of close to $140,000 a month, something he is now working to budget for next year.
Next year, I'm hoping that by maybe December, November, once they open the court system up and as people reoffend or whatever and they start coming back into the jails, that maybe we'll be okay next year.
It's not an impact now, but it is one that, should this last much longer, could have lasting effects on more than just the workers at the jail. In Leslie County, Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News.
Clark says with no work release, the work the inmates provide is starting to suffer, like mowing state road exits and, in Leslie County, digging graves at no cost. By the end of next week, voters across the state will be able to request an absentee ballot for the June 23rd primary election. The head of the Kentucky Board of Elections says the state will launch a website next Friday, May 22nd, where registered voters can request an absentee ballot. Once requested, a ballot will be mailed to that person. Voters can either return the ballot via mail or drop them off at county clerk's offices. At least one precinct will still be open on Election Day in each county for in-person voting. As this school year winds down, the big question is, what will the next school year look like? The Kentucky Department of Education has been talking to superintendents across the state about what they should prepare for. WYMT's Emily Bennett talked to officials at one school about how they're doing that. Emily?
Steve, students across the state and even the country are wondering, are they going to be riding a school bus and walking into their schools this fall? Well, the Kentucky Department of Education is asking districts to prepare for many possibilities for what next school year might look like. Now, those possibilities are an early start in late July, a traditional start, or beginning after Labor Day. Floyd County Schools Superintendent Danny Adkins says they have approved their calendar for an August 17th start, but that could change. While waiting to see how it all pans out, they are working on their online learning, and health procedures are also being looked into. They are planning to buy equipment such as sprayers so they can sanitize the school each night.
It's just the uncertainty is the toughest part. If we knew what to plan for, we got great staffs across the state of Kentucky. We have great educators, so it would be easier if we knew what to plan for. But again, nobody knows what to plan for.
Now, Adkins says that they have been in close contact with the Floyd County Health Department, making sure that they will be following all the right guidelines. Adkins says the most important thing is the safety of the kids. I'm Lavin Hazard, Emily Bennett, WYMT Mountain News.
Emily, thank you. Johnson County Schools put aside their rivalry to help tie a bow on the class of 2020's senior year. Staff, community members, and the principals from Paintsville High School and Johnson Central worked with the Main Street program to place bows around the city representing the county's seniors, black for Johnson Central and blue for Paintsville, wrapped together to show unity as the class goes down in history for its sacrifices in the face of the pandemic. It was an exciting day at the Wolfe County Health and Rehabilitation Center. Family, friends, and community members drove by the center to see their loved ones from a distance for the first time in weeks. The residents lined the sidewalks holding signs and balloons to also show their love. Amy Prater, an administrator at the center, says the parade was something the residents look forward to.
Normally, this time of year, we do a walk through town. The nursing home brings the residents down and we all, walk. So that wasn't possible this year. So this was a great opportunity to get to do this with them.
Officials with the rehabilitation center say they continue to follow social distancing guidelines and continue to stay healthy at home to get through this pandemic. With the weather about to warm up, many of us would be heading outside to places like the Red River Gorge, but that area is still closed. And as Memorial Day weekend approaches, seasonal businesses could lose a big chunk of revenue. Olivia Russell talked to one business owner who's worried about how much longer they can last.
The permits are paid, but Ernie Braden hasn't even made $1 renting kayaks this season for Red River Adventure. He's not the only business hurting right now.
All the guided services, photography, weddings.
Many of those businesses are seasonal too. Even if they do get the green light to reopen, they can't actually operate while Red River Gorge is closed.
I've talked to several of the owners, the business owners down here, and a lot of them were in tears. Having a business and getting the money is also life to us because that's how we feed our families. That's how we take care of ourselves. That's how we put a roof on over our heads.
Braden has created an online petition and formed a coalition with 24 other business owners outlining ways they can operate safely and hoping the gorge will reopen soon. And Braden says this push to reopen isn't just about the businesses, though. It's also about giving people a safe outlet, one that's actually recommended.
Getting outdoors is therapeutic for a lot of people.
Kentucky's online resources list hiking as a great activity as long as people maintain social distancing. But one of the concerns with reopening the gorge is the many tourists it attracts, possibly from out of state. Braden argues most of his visitors are fellow Kentuckians.
We do get a lot of northern Kentucky areas, Lexington, Louisville.
He's hopeful he'll see those visitors again soon, because even a short season is better than no season at all.
We see all the smiling faces and all the happy visitors that do come down here.
In Powell County, Olivia Russell, WYMT Mountain News.
Right now, there is still no date for when the gorge can reopen and when businesses there can resume. With the Red River Gorge closed, the Wolfe County Search and Rescue Team is using their time to train. The team's chief says they're required to complete a certain amount of training each month. Through the pandemic, they are using virtual training, including wilderness navigation. Chief John May says they are finding ways to stay ready.
He was able to take equipment that we use like compasses, put on those maps, show us how you would use that in a wilderness environment, almost like he was sitting there across from us, doing the training.
Once the trails reopen, May says teams will be wearing masks and have hand sanitizer. An inmate considered dangerous escaped from the Harlan County Jail yesterday. This is 37-year-old David Parsons. Officials say he escaped around 2:30 yesterday afternoon. Parsons is from Pike County and was convicted of felonies. No other information was released. If you see him, you should call 911 immediately. A Laurel County woman has been missing for more than 1 month, and Kentucky State Police need your help finding her. Have you seen 39-year-old Cecily Mobley? She was last seen April 12th near a house in the Keavy area. Police describe her as 5 feet 5 inches tall, 165 pounds, with brown hair and blue eyes. If you see her, you should call State Police Post 11 at 606-878-6622.
Warmer temperatures are in store tomorrow, along with more sunshine. I'll have a look at that forecast coming up.
But first, there seems to be a lot of uncertainty these days, but in a Somerset subdivision, certainty has found a brief window to come back each night at 7 o'clock.